Let's cross live now to our reporter in London, Jonathan Sacerdoti. Jonathan, thanks so much for joining me. May did a real about-face here. I mean, she'd ruled out early elections on several occasions. What do you think is her political calculation, and will it pay off?
That's right, Jordana. I mean, as recently as March, Theresa May was saying no elections before the end of this Parliament in 2020, which would have seen her through the whole process of the Brexit negotiations. But in some ways, people have been calling for elections since she took office. Remember, she's never been elected as Prime Minister of this country. She stood in and won the election battle in the Conservative Party when David Cameron stepped down after the result of the EU referendum in June, which means that some have questioned her mandate throughout. Also, just this weekend, she'll have been buoyed up by two polls that put her ahead of Labour, the Conservative Party, doing so well in those polls that the temptation to call a snap election right now, while Labour is in disarray, must have been too great for her, because this will now give her that mandate and also potentially a huge majority in the House of Commons.
So she's banking on increasing her margin in the Parliament. What is the opposition saying?
Well, of course, the opposition is in a bit of a bind here. Many in the Labour Party feel that Jeremy Corbyn can't possibly win an election for them. Remember, they just had a vote of no confidence in him, and their own election to see who would be the leader of the Labour Party. He won that, despite the fact that many of his own MPs didn't have confidence in him. And yet, in order for her to call this election, she has to get a two-thirds majority in the House of Commons for the idea of a new general election, because of that law that was introduced for fixed-time parliaments in the UK to stop exactly this sort of thing happening. But Labour politicians can't really vote against a general election and expect the nation to believe that they feel prepared to win an election. So they have to really vote for Christmas as turkeys, some would say.
And quickly, Jonathan, what's the next step? Parliament, as you said, does have to approve this move.
That's right. We're told that the Queen was aware of this yesterday, that tomorrow there'll be that vote, and then there'll be this extremely quick campaign period with Britain going to the polls on the 8th of June, giving people very little time to actually make much of a case for their party and for the electorate to make complex decisions.
Thank you so much, Jonathan Sacerdoti, our reporter for us there live in London.